Ah, go into the party, there should be a toggle.
I am included.
Woohoo! Right, let me go and do my live things.
Have info fuel. Oh, that's gonna hurt. No, it's not. I'm invulnerable.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm flying. This is a lot easier than riding around.
Yes, it is. Go. That's that done. Copy the text of that, and now I can just paste it everywhere else. Right. Hello, Dovahkiin. Welcome to the stream. We will be with you shortly. I'm doing the boring stream admin-y stuff, and then we will be good to go. So, Tom, I do believe that you have some ideas that you want to test. Hence, we are in a creative world this week.
Yes. Yes.
Excellent. Well, we shall get to testing then.
We needed to test the big hole maker, didn't we? That was the first thing to test.
Well, the important thing we need to test, and I don't know if Panzer has joined us yet, but I need to thank Panzer for some information. The reason we are struggling to find magnesium on this planet is that magnesium on this planet only has an 11% spawn rate.
Ah.
So it's quite low. It's low enough that some people actually don't think it spawns on this planet.
Really? That's bad.
And one of the things that, because Panzer mentioned it was really rare, I went looking, and apparently it spawns at roughly 80 meters of depth.
Which means that what our current scanner's gonna do doesn't do anything.
Can't go deep enough.
Right.
So we need the big, large grid ore detector.
Right. This is
So
to go on a vehicle, isn't it, that we were going to build?
this needs to go on a vehicle, yes. Now I have some designs that will do the job, but I'm much more interested in seeing what your designs come out looking like. So what I will do now, creative mode on this works exactly the same way as survival. You've got your build menu.
Yep.
And you just go and find the block you want.
Okay.
The advantage you have in creative is by default it's set in line building mode. So if you hold down your right trigger, oh, has it defaulted to? Interesting. But yeah, you should be able to build out a line of blocks by holding down right trigger.
Where? So far away.
Oh, and you can now move blocks closer and further away to you. If you've got a block out,
Yeah.
you can hold left bumper and use up and down on D-pad to move it further away and closer to you.
Well, that's useful. So I have to
The
place
other
the
tool-
first block before I can start.
You have to place the first block, and then once you've got it snapping to a block, you can do the lines.
Okay. So if I place that one there, and then hold right trigger.
Yep, so yeah, it takes a bit of getting used to. You've got to be pointed at the block that you're trying to connect it to, but then you can basically, you're clicking and dragging. It does take a bit of getting used to, because it's obviously expecting you to have a mouse.
Yeah, that's not doing it. I'm just placing individual blocks at the moment.
Okay, right, get a block out, we'll check what your settings are on. And what you want to do is, with a block out, ready to place... No, you don't need to grind it, left trigger deletes.
Does it?
Yeah, if you've got a block out, left trigger deletes.
No, it doesn't.
This gets very dangerous.
No, it doesn't. Pressing left trigger.
Right, so you need to have a block out as if you were going to place one.
Ah, right, okay.
There we are. Sitting there going, he's still got a grinder out. There we are. There you are. Stuff goes bye-byes. Right, so while you've got that block out, click your right thumbstick and you'll get a little wheel pop up.
Yep.
This is the other set of menus. If you're not there already, you want to go all the way to the left to the build menu. You should have 5 options in front of you.
Yep.
The one on the left, toggle multi-block building, determines if you're placing lines, planes, or single blocks.
Yeah, it was on single.
There you go. So you use right bumper to switch between them. Got it?
Yep.
Excellent. Now,
Okay.
obviously, that does mean you can switch to plane building as well, which will let you put a big sheet of blocks down if you ever need to.
Let's see what the plane does.
You still need a single block down first as your starting point.
Yep.
Yeah, Dovahkiin, keyboard is almost a necessity for SE. I generally play with keyboard and control pad. But, yeah, keyboard is very, very useful. You struggling there, Tom?
I've lost my first block. Oh, I know why.
Oh, and it's not snapped into the ground this time, so it's now a vehicle. I've just realised we're in creative mode. We don't have to worry about waiting for the sun to come up. Because I have control of the sun! How we doing? Yep, got the hang of that one.
Cool. That's it.
Now, there are a couple of other tools that we're going to play with in this creative mode that we don't have in survival. Right, first thing, if you try and get rid of a whole thing, go into that right-click menu again.
Yep.
And what you're looking for this time is the blueprint actions, and there is cut grid. That will get rid of that entire grid you're looking at. Just deletes the whole thing and you get rid of it entirely.
Cool. It's gone.
Useful for tidying up. Yes, unlimited power, Dovahkiin. Unlimited power. Right, the other thing we are going to play with in this mode is something called symmetry mode.
Right.
Now, if you just get an armor block out and come and look at your bike with a block out.
Come on. Okay. Yep.
Do you see there's a red plane down the middle of it? Very faint red plane down the middle while you've got the block in contact with the grid.
I've got one on the block. Does that count? Not on the bike.
Not on the bike itself. Okay, you probably haven't got it switched on then. So, right thumbstick again, go back to your build menu.
Yep.
And at the bottom, at your 6 o'clock, you have symmetry mode on-off.
There we go.
So, because I built this bike in symmetry mode, can you now see the faint red plane?
Yep.
That is your line of symmetry. You can have up to 3 lines of symmetry. Well, 3 directions of symmetry running, and you can have multiple lines of symmetry on a build as well.
So it just means that if I place a block, it will put it on the other side in the same position.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, well that makes sense.
And it will even give you a nice error message if there's something blocking it from being placed,
Useful.
which is helpful.
Yeah.
So, once we get to building, I'll show you how you actually set up that symmetry, because it's not set up by default. You have to do it yourself.
Okay.
So we will show you how to do that. What I'm going to suggest we do, so we've got a nice level thing to start with, is that we build a reasonable sized plane of blocks as sort of a workshop area.
Okay. Do that.
If we go out sort of If we go out sort of that far and then just bring it this way, we've got a nice big flat area.
How wide do you want it to go?
The width of that block that I've put down. Let's get a nice big area set up.
I just realised I pressed the wrong button.
You might also find it quicker if you're flying.
Yeah, I pressed the delete trigger, not the build trigger.
Yep, that will cancel it.
God damn it.
Would you like some assistance?
No.
Or would you like to keep trying?
Nope, I will keep trying.
Okay, well while you get the platform down, I'm going to pop around the back of the mountain quickly, and I'm going to load a blueprint, or this might lag you slightly, so I'll apologise in advance. You just keep trying to lay that platform down.
Yep.
So
yep.
what I'm going to do for the
Shut me
benefit
down
of stream...
completely.
As in you can't move at all?
Yeah, it's telling me. Oh, there we go. Whee.
Yeah, there you are. So, I'm now going to load in my standard large grid ore scouting vehicle.
Oh, didn't like that either.
Yeah, you're going to get bounced around all over the place while I'm loading this blueprint. Sorry! Blame Space Engineers. But yeah, so...
I cancelled my build.
I'm going to load...
Oh, no.
Oh, no!
No, it didn't. It just... Ooh, hello. It just
Yeah.
got confused.
So I'm going to load in my standard ore scouting vehicle, and we'll see what Tom gets to. Now, mine specifically isn't a mining vehicle. Mine is purely for finding ore locations in rough terrain. So it's very limited, but it is very good at that role. This is the one that I use on our current survival server, with a couple of minor tweaks that have happened during its use in survival. You should stop lagging now, Tom.
Yeah, it seems to be better. Okay.
Excellent. Right, so we'll leave that round the back of the mountain out of the way. Yeah, that looks like a good starting spot. Now, because we're building in large grid, and this is something we will be taking advantage of in survival as well,
Yep.
is what we're going to do is we're actually going to build it connected to our little mining outpost. So this thing is basically going to be a tumour coming off of our mining outpost, because that way we can use the mining outpost's wind turbines to charge the batteries.
Well, that makes sense.
So the way we do that is really simple. We just have a line of blocks coming up here that is going to represent our connection point to our little mining outpost, and then at a suitable point off the ground you build a spar out, and when you're finished you just chop it off and it becomes a vehicle.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to very quickly colour that block different colour. There we go. So anything to the right of that block, as we're currently looking at it, so anything in the open space side of that block is going to be the vehicle. Anything to the left of it, as I'm looking at it on stream, so the support pillar, is going to be our base. That way we know where we're chopping this thing off.
Cool. Makes sense. Fair enough. Right.
Okay, I've just seen your message, Doverkin. A lift that goes between 10 different decks is going to be very, very difficult in Space Engineers. If you've got access to mods, I seriously recommend having a look at the elevator mod that's part of Azimuth, because they have a purpose-built elevator block. A 10-deck one is either going to be incredibly clangy and will likely cause your ship to explode, because I know you want it for a ship, or is going to be absolutely gigantic. but I will be doing some basic elevators on a Wednesday stream in a couple of weeks, so you might be able to take that idea and multiply it out. Right, back to the scheduled broadcast. So what's your plan then, Tom? You said you had plans.
I do. Right, I need to build a platform.
Okay, how big do you want your platform to be?
Large enough to put one of those big drills in.
Well,
Facing
I mean,
downwards.
that's not particularly large, I'm not going to lie.
Well, it's large enough for me, considering I have this. It will be the biggest thing I've built so far.
Fair enough. So, you basically want something that will fit a drill. A drill is a 1x1 hole.
No,
But you
not,
need
not
to-
one of those drills.
Oh, I see what you mean. You mean the whole paraphernalia.
Yeah, you know, like when you said that we're going to be building the big one to go on there.
Yeah,
Yeah, that one.
right. Okay. I like your style.
And it needs to go
Um,
down a long way.
Right, okay. I think I know the sort of thing you're after. Just to make sure I'm on the right ballpark, I'm going to drop in a blueprint quickly. I
Okay.
just want to make sure we're both thinking the same thing.
Right.
Because I have a build. It's not like this one, because this one flies rather than being on wheels. Wheels? Wheels?
Wheels.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Now I just have to remember what the heck I called it.
Did
There it is. Oh dear, I had forgotten how long ago I built this thing.
I'm going?
I will apologise for the paint scheme in advance. This is just after we'd had one of the downloadable content packs called Frostbite, which added a new paint scheme that meant everything looked like it was frozen over and snowy.
That sounds good.
So this vehicle may have got built in a very horrible skin. So, I apologise if this offends the eyes, because it sure as heck offends mine.
Yeah, that
so-
sort of idea.
This is my flying ice mining rig for Earth-like worlds. So on Earth-like, you get massive flat lakes of ice. And this thing is just designed to hop its way along with a rotary punch drill. So you land it, you punch the drill down, it drills a big circle, you pull it back up, you hop it forward about 10 metres and repeat.
Yeah, that's basically what I was thinking,
Awesome.
but on wheels instead.
Yes. Yeah, I have a atmospheric flying version and a space flying version of this thing.
And it needs to go down
the space-
a long way.
The space flying version is silly because the space flying version can drill down to 150 metres.
That's about how far I was thinking.
Okay, I'm going to have to introduce you to something called a piston snake then. It's going to get clangy.
Cool.
I thought you might say that. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure we were on the same, idea with the drill head.
Yeah.
Incidentally, this is the drill head we're going to be building in that survival tunnel eventually, just poking it sideways.
Cool. Yeah, that's basically
Not
what I
the
was
platform, but the bit hanging in the middle
Yeah,
of it.
yeah. That's what I was
Um,
thinking, like a big drill like that, and then it would just go
Cool.
straight down.
Just so you're aware, for each piston you put in gives you 10 metres of depth
That's all right. With
that you're drilling.
Me-
Just keep that in mind when you set yourself a target for how deep you're going to go.
I reckon we need to get down to about 100 meters minimum.
I think you are correct on that one.
So that's what I need to aim for.
Fair enough. Looks like I am going to be teaching you piston snakes then, which, by the way, we aren't going to be able to build off a projection in survival. We're going to have to do that manually, but I'll explain why when we get to it.
Okay.
So start laying out your platform then, and I will assist where I can.
Where
Now,
where do I
you
start?
want to set... Well, this is the question. If you set this up so that the centre of your vehicle connects here,
Yep.
where I've just splattered my face,
Yep.
we can set symmetry mode up now.
Okay, let's do that then.
and it will build your vehicle symmetrically from that point.
Cool. Let's do that.
Cool. Right. Get a block out. Doesn't matter which block. You just need a block out ready to place.
Okay.
We are then going to go into your right-click menu, back to your build tab.
Yep.
And at sort of your 4 o'clock-ish sort of position, you've got Enter Symmetry Setup.
Yep.
Select that with right bumper. You should now see a very faint red plane while you're looking at the block.
Yep.
You need to keep your crosshair on the facing of that armour block that's towards us, by the way, otherwise it'll get very confused. And you'll notice that your D-pad menu has changed a bit.
Yep. Oh.
So, the D-pad buttons you've got, left is remove plane of symmetry, right is add plane of symmetry. The bottom one, the XYZ one, changes the plane of symmetry, so if you hit that it will rotate through, but if you rotate through all of them it will kick you out of symmetry mode.
That way.
And then the top one is exit symmetry mode.
How do I confirm
So
which
when
one
you
I want to build it into?
So once you've got the one you want, which I'm guessing is going to be the first blue one.
Yep.
You then use... Let me just get to the same one. You then use right on the D-pad to confirm that plane of symmetry.
Yep.
And it goes a slightly darker blue.
Hey, got it.
Now you need to push up on the D-pad to confirm everything and come out of symmetry mode.
Yep, I am out of symmetry mode.
And you should now, if you've got an armour block looking at it, if you place it on the side of that armour, you should see a ghost version of it appearing on the other side.
I do indeed.
There you go.
But I don't want it there,
Now,
do
remembering that we want to be building from that point.
Yep. I'll stick them there
That
instead.
blue block is where we're going to chop it off.
Okay. What sort of size area do I need for the...
Right. You aren't really familiar with large grid wheels, are you?
No.
Or wheels in general, for that matter.
No.
Right. Suspension in this game comes in 3 different sizes. You have 1x1, 3x3 and 5x5. That is the relation of the size of the tyre attached to the suspension.
Right.
In whatever block size you're working with. So, for example,
Why did you do that?
those are 3x3 wheels.
Okay.
Are you still in plane mode?
Apparently.
It will stay in that until you tell it otherwise. I would recommend jumping back to line mode. It's the most useful one usually. So, that's your 3x3 wheels that I've just put down.
Yep.
If we get rid of that, we have a tyre falling on the floor because they're not part of the same grid.
No!
You hit the wrong button, didn't you, Tom?
Oh, fucking... Sorry, language.
That's alright. This is your 5x5 wheel.
That's the size I want.
Now, these are the standard wheels.
Yep.
And if I go all the way through to my decorative stuff, and assuming that you have the DLC, I can't remember if you do or not.
Don't think so. I haven't asked to
Fair enough.
download any DLC yet.
Fair enough. Right, so there is a new version of the wheel. It's just a cosmetic difference. There's no actual functional difference. But you get off-road wheels
Oh, yeah, those ones. Yeah. I know those ones.
with the zombie killer style tyres.
Yep.
But again, they still only come in 1x1, 3x3 and 5x5. You dented
broke-
the platform, Tom.
Broke the floor.
It's fine.
So this is probably actually too high then at the moment. No, I
Well,
don't know.
don't forget, we're gonna
because I will need to drop
we're gonna drop it.
it. Yeah.
It's built deliberately higher up in the air than necessary.
Okay. Right, if I do...
I mean, Dovahkiin, us all being adults really depends on whether we're talking mental or physical here. Anyway.
I like to think I'm physically an adult, but not mentally.
Similar.
Okay. Right, the space that I need for the drill, how big is that?
Okay, so the drill itself is only 1 block.
No, to do the big drill.
Yeah, so this is what you've got to decide, is how big do you want your drill head to be? And the hole needs to have 1 block of clearance the whole way round.
Okay, so it needs to be 7. 7's not an even number. Oh, mind you, it doesn't work in there. That's good. Right. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So...
yes, Dovahkiin, there is a mod that adds 2x2, 4x4 and 7x7 wheels. We are keeping this purely vanilla for this playthrough, so we are steering clear of the mods, mainly because the server that eventually we're going to be transitioning to at the end of all of this does not have mods on it, so we don't want to get used to playing with mods only to have them disappear. Yes, I am aware of the more wheels mod and also the more armor shapes mod as well. Trust me, I would love to be using them for the extra variety, but we are keeping this vanilla for now.
Yep. Yep. Oh, wrong one. Go away, you. I'm just building the base frame to put it on.
Yep, that is the best way of starting with a vehicle like this. Work out the frame that you need, and then we'll start adding the fun stuff to it afterwards.
Because I figure
now, this is just my personal
platform.
way. Yeah, this is just my personal way of building stuff. But what I tend to do is get the function sorted first, and then worry about making it look pretty, if I care, afterwards. I will fully admit my Ore Scout is not particularly pretty. Before we get over to that one.
I might have broken the floor again.
Do you not like these blocks? Do you just like dropping them on the floor every so often?
I do. I do quite like dropping them.
Strangely, that didn't damage the floor so much.
Did it not?
Not as much. Still damaged it a little bit. So I'm assuming very big drill goes here.
Are they asking you to go on then? Ah. We will have to move the Xbox into... Okay, so next time we move the Xbox into the bedroom.
Other demands being made on your space.
Shannon is needed.
Oh no.
So... That's fine, that's fine. Right, okay, so that's my basic platform.
Okay.
I can extend it if I need to, but this will do for now. So...
Okay.
Do I build the drill onto it first of all?
Yeah, what we're going to need to do is we're obviously going to need some sort of frame going upwards that this drill attaches to.
Right.
So whilst you've got quite a wide platform here, it's going to be tall.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to be glad of that wide platform to stop it becoming overly top heavy. Now each drill, if we just pop back over to here quickly, each drill starts as 2 large grid blocks.
I've lost you. Where have you
length.
gone?
I've gone back to our little mining outpost quickly to look at the drills.
Yeah.
So each drill, because when you place it, it places in the closed state. So each piston on this drill is 2 large blocks.
Okay, and they extend 10 meters.
And they extend to a total of 10 meters.
Right. So what do I do? So I need to be 20 blocks
So-
high?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Because what we're going to do, if we go for about, if we say 8 blocks of clearance for the minute, so if you go up 8 blocks for the minute,
Okay. So 1, 2,
and we'll start building a piston snake.
4, 5, 6, no, 6, 7, yeah, go back down, 8. Okay,
Cool.
how did you do that?
By using the line tool. Right. The line tool, Tom, will tell you how many blocks you are placing as you click and drag. Dovahkiin, the best way to build a base varies from person to person, what you want that base to do, and all sorts of other things. I would not like to give a definitive answer at this point. Right.
Okay,
Ah, I see we have started our pillars in a different spot from each other.
we have.
As it's your design, I will copy your positioning. There it goes.
Ah!
Right.
Oh, you broke it. You dropped your silly
It's
blocks on it.
fine.
Gotta replace
It's
them now.
fine. Nah, they'll fix. Of course. I will need to get rid of that though. Because as you place blocks, it will automatically fix the ones underneath.
Fixing, 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 fixing. Fixing, fixing,
Right.
fixing, fixing, fixing. Fixing, fixing. You're not fixed. You're now fixed.
Okay. So we've got our support structure in. So what we need to do now is find the middle. So that is going to be our middle. Now, because we need those drills to be piped up, our middle block needs to be a conveyor.
Cool.
So that we can push stuff through it. What we're then going to do, the depth we're going, I would suggest we have a slightly larger but non-spinning drill head.
Okay.
Otherwise we're going to have problems with the vehicle potentially spinning itself round instead of the drill head.
No. That could be funny.
Which, as you can imagine, as hilarious as it would be, might cause us some issues. So, basically, what we're going to do here is I'm going to give myself a little bit of clearance to work with. And we are going to build something that's known as a piston snake. Where you start taking pistons, and then taking advantage of the fact that conveyor tubes do not attach on other sides, you then start stacking pistons.
Okay.
So we'll build a piston here, and then we'll build the next one there. And what will happen is the first piston will extend and it will move all of the rest of the pistons down. You then extend the next piston and it will push all of the rest of the pistons down, and so on and so on and so on.
Okay.
So you're packing a lot of pistons into a very small area.
Oh, I see. So, because they're all connected, basically.
Yes.
Right. This isn't real physics, is it? Because that wouldn't work. That would break.
It's sort of real physics, because believe me, this can break. This can break quite spectacularly, because if you put a piston next to another piston when you're doing this, they will stick to each other. Which is why you have to do the run of not pistons in between, going back up.
Can't we just put, like, 10 pistons end to end to each other?
We could do that,
'Cause-
but think how much taller this is going to need to be if you do that. Because don't forget, hanging underneath the bottom of all of this, we've got to put drills as well. And we still need to keep it clear of the floor when the vehicle's driving.
And stable.
So how many pistons are we up to? Well, yeah, stable is a thing that we would like, but we may not necessarily achieve.
I think that's 3.
That should be 3. By the way, this is the thing that we are going to have to remember how we laid it out. Because otherwise, well, we can't project this, basically. Not without spending more time than is necessary building lots of projectors. Because when you save a blueprint in this game, it saves the main grid, so the largest grid, and every time you place a piston, the piston head onwards is considered a new grid, or a new vehicle, effectively.
Right.
So, anything we do after a piston or a rotor becomes a new vehicle, effectively.
Okay.
Now, as we're doing this, Davakin, this is one of the ways that you can build your horrible 10-deck piston lift thing that you were asking about earlier. This is why it can clang horribly or take up huge amounts of space. So, what are we up to now, piston-wise?
One, 2. I'm not sure. 5 maybe? 1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean, there is a cheaty way you could check.
5.
If you just go up to one of the pistons and access its control panel, you can just look in the control panel how many pistons there are.
Come here. Why won't you let me highlight it? There we go.
I think we may have actually reached...
Terminal is not connected to any ship. I don't care about that.
That means you've gone into your own terminal,
I've gone into...
rather than the...
press
You might have missed it.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pistons we've got so far. We are going to struggle to fit 10 pistons in this space
I can make it bigger.
right now.
4, 5, 6.
So if we go up that way, because yeah, the problem we've got is trying not to get the pistons next to each other.
Yep.
So I'm going to pull it this way. That's 7. But this is why you test stuff in creative. Hiya, Panzer. So that's 8, assuming that I have mathed. And we go up again.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, 8.
So that's number 9 in. We should just about pack number 10 in without causing too much problem.
Do I need to build that slightly wider now to give it a gap?
You will need to cut the hole 1 block wider.
Okay.
Because we need... Technically we don't need it, but for sanity and safety we need it to have 1 block of space. Because what we're then going to do is, on that last piston, we pull the drills back towards the centre, just to try and keep some of the centre of mass in a sensible spot. And then that's what we attach the drills to. That point there.
Okay. Because it's not central anymore. Unless I need to do one on the other side as well. Do they do one on the other
No,
side?
it's as close to... Well, I'm going to put it one block over, actually. So it is as close to central as we're going to get with a hole that now doesn't have a centre point in one direction. It still has a centre in the other direction, because I didn't push it any wider than we needed to. But, you know, it is what it is. Right, so next thing we do is attach drills to this.
Hang on, I'm just finishing tidying up. Okay.
I mean, technically we could... Actually, we can probably make that one block higher if we have the drills connecting at this level instead. So if we start attaching drills to that...
It's even less in the middle.
Yeah, but I've just realised we're just going to be building a massive great square of drills, so the centre really isn't going to matter at this point.
Okay.
See what I mean?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Now, of course, the thing you've got to make sure is that you end up with a gap the whole way round. Now, we don't need to make this a solid square if we want to be cheap on resources, because you can have conveyors spacing the drills out, and if anyone's building something like this on a server, you want to minimise the number of drills you're using, because drills create lag, is the short version. On a single player world like this, it's not going to be too much of an issue, and as long as you keep the number of drills below about 10 or 15, you won't even notice on a server. So with something this small, we can probably get away with just making a big box of drill.
What, you doing like a 3x3 of drills?
Yeah, that seems like a sensible one for me. But as I said, this is your build. You can fill as much or as little of the hole you have created in your rover with drills as you would like.
Well, in that case then...
It all depends... Yeah.
Max it out. See how many we can get in there.
Well, as I said, it's over to you. This is very much your build. I am providing you with technical assistance on this one because I'm intrigued to see what you come up with.
Okay, where is the drills gone?
They are under your weapons and wheels menu at the 4 o'clock-ish sort of position.
On what part? What page?
Wheels and weapons.
Oh, right.
It will start with the grinder.
There it is. I found it. Order. Drill. Boink. There. That's not what I told you to build.
Dare I ask?
I was trying to build a grinder.
Ah. Yeah, you may need to cycle through to get to the drill. There you go.
Can I get one more in there? Yeah, I can get one
You
more
can
in.
go one more row if you wanted to.
I can get some more in here, can't I?
Technically you can... Yeah, technically you can go one more row on the other 3 sides as well.
See how much I can break this.
Oh, I'm sure you will find a way of breaking it.
Cool. Oh, nope. What?
Yeah, I was going to say, you've still got one more row you can cram in on there.
Okay.
Oh lord, the lag this thing will generate, it's going to be glorious. Now, The good news is, this doesn't stick out very far on the bottom. The bad news is, it does stick out a little bit.
Yeah.
So when you come to put wheels on this platform, keep in mind that you've got a tiny bit of drill sticking out the bottom, which will high centre your vehicle.
Well, that's not a problem, because what I'll do, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I'll do is
Is drop the wheels down a block?
basically, it's what arm does it matter what armor I build it with? It doesn't make any difference to strength.
Right.
I
The
never
only thing
asked
it
that.
matters to is the amount of damage it will soak up in terms of impact. So they have the same structural strength.
Yep.
But you can shoot the hell out of heavy armor a lot more than you can light armor.
Right.
Oh, Panzer. I did not realise I was triggering your OCD, but this is very much a Tom thing. If Tom doesn't want to replace those 2 blocks, I am not going to force him to. Because
What
he'd have
2
to
blocks?
rebuild the whole drill rig.
What?
If you come and look at it from this side, Tom,
Hang on.
have a look at the drill rig and see what might be triggering someone's OCD.
Where are ya? Where are ya? Yeah. What 2 blocks?
Where have you gone?
What 2 blocks? What's
Right.
missing?
Oh, nothing's missing, but you'll notice that there is a junction here, or a tube corner here, and a junction
Yes.
that could actually be replaced with drills.
Well, then, cool.
And
go
that,
for it. I don't know how I
but
would
if you
jump.
cut those off, it's going to drop your entire drill head off of the vehicle.
I wouldn't mind food now, please, my love.
Because there is nothing else attaching it to the vehicle.
Well, in that case, then it'll have to say, sorry, who's complaining?
It's Panzer in chat.
Panzer, you'll have to put
It's
up with it. There's nothing I can do. It's going to stay like that forever now.
Panzer, we'll just say it's got character. I'll tell you what, I'll just make sure I only ever look at it
That
from
is-
this angle, when you can't see it.
No, I'm going to make him stare at the awkward bit. Look at the
Fortunately,
awkwardness.
Fortunately, he can only see my camera view.
Yeah, Artemis's OCD is struggling as well. She can't deal with that. Oh, I forgot a line.
Sorry, Artemis.
Whee!
I mean, if it really becomes a problem, I will fix it later.
I feel that this needs to be too deep as well. Actually, no, let's give it a skirt.
I mean, the least I can do for our OCD sufferers in the audience
Ah,
is paint the stuff the same colour as Tom's stuff. If it will let me. Oh, it won't let me. Oh, you are really stuck with it, guys. Sorry. I tried.
well,
You're alright.
yeah, I'm just having trouble seeing. Hang on. Let's put a torch
There
on.
you go. We have daylight now.
Hey!
Yeah, bad luck, guys. I am not allowed to repaint the grid, apparently. So, you are really just going to have to put up with that random colour match as well.
Why won't you allow me to play? Thank you. Right. And then this one.
Because Tom has grid ownership. You're just going to have to put up with it.
Okay.
Are you aware that your top part of the platform is in heavy armour, Tom?
Yes.
Cool. I was just wondering if it was deliberate or accidental,
That was the bit
as
you
I
built.
have done both.
You built that bit.
You built the platform. As in, this platform up here that you laid down, the chassis of your vehicle, the top layer of your 2-layer cake is in heavy, the bottom is in light.
I just selected what other one came up first on the menu.
Right, so yes, that wasn't accidental heavy armour then.
I don't know the difference. It all looks the same to me, apart from your stuff, which looks darker.
the block skin is different on heavy armour. I only realised it was heavy, not just a different skin, because I went and stuck a welder in it.
Oh, okay. Bugger off.
Are you breaking Artemis?
No,
I can hear her
she
in the
was
background.
attacking me with an uncooked piece of spaghetti.
As you do.
Right, okay.
Yep, Panzer, that is a fair point. Heavy armour does mean that you've got a lot more mass to move.
I really don't think mass from slightly different blocks is going to make a lot of difference to what I've been building so far. Not with the
We'll
amount of
see.
things. Not with the amount of things I plan on sticking on it.
Fair enough. It may well just be that we end up having to give it a bit of thrust assist to handle hills.
Sounds good to me.
Either that, or I'm going to teach you some of my weird and wonderful wheel designs.
I mean,
That
this
mean
thing
that
this thing was always
wheels
going to have
get-
6 wheels if I can help it.
6?
Yeah.
6, you say?
Yeah, I need 6.
That's a very small number.
No, big wheels.
Yeah, that's a very small number.
Any more than that is
The
not needed.
Stuff Oh, it really... okay.
If the
Right,
game makes
I
you need more
sense-
than 6 wheels, then it's very much got something wrong.
Okay, I need to introduce you to something called a scuffler in a minute.
I've seen your scuffler, thank you very much.
Yes, you have. That's what you call mobility. And as Panzer says, this may well be Tiger Tank level mobility. Having said that, Panzer, we're driving a mining rig around. I don't necessarily want it handling like a sports car.
No, it just needs to move
Um,
and it needs to be stable.
Something else you need to think about while you are designing the chassis of this thing, you want your ore detectors to be as low to the ground as possible.
Okay, well I won't know how low that will be until I get the wheels on.
Well, I would just suggest finding a low point on your chassis to fit a 2-block object into.
What's the range on the
Because-
ore detector?
150 metres for a
Oh,
large grid,
that's
I
fine then.
believe.
So surely just on the underside of the chassis here will be fine.
Yes, yeah, on the underside of the chassis would be fine.
Okay. Right. What do I need? I need to put wheels on, or do I need to put this thingy on first?
Entirely up to you, it doesn't really matter.
Let's go for wheels. Let's play with some wheels.
Okay, Panzer apparently wants to see your mining rig fly and zoom around like a runabout. I don't think that's going to be in the program
No,
for
no,
this one.
that's the motorbike that's going to do that.
Yes, I had a feeling that was going to happen. Right. Which end do you want to call the front of this contraption?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter because your wheels are left or right. So we need to know which direction is going to be left and which is going to be right.
Well, seeing as
Basically, do you want the bit stuck to the base to be the front, or the bit facing away from the base to be the front?
the bit facing away from the base is the front. I want to
Excellent,
back
okay.
onto that protrusion.
Fair enough. In which case, if you go and find your wheels, which are unsurprisingly under the Wheels and Weapons tab, and because you've got mirror mode on, you only need to pick left or right, put it on the appropriate side of the vehicle,
That one.
Oh, I see what you mean, Panzer. Roundabout. My apologies. I misread that as runabout. I may have been watching Star Trek Deep Space Nine earlier today.
Which side does the wheel
Yeah.
go on?
Right, so you're talking vehicle left or vehicle right, as if you were sitting in the cockpit.
Yeah, that's fine. But well, I don't know which way round this thing goes.
Right, okay. Let me place one the correct way up. Are you using lefts or rights?
Right apparently. So I'm on the wrong side.
Cool. Where are you at?
Here.
Where are you at? Ah, there you are. Right, okay. So you want 5x5s, don't you?
Yes.
And I'm guessing you want it on that front corner.
Well, actually, I wanted it a bit lower than that, so I may need to build another block.
But you... Right, so what you want, I'll place it the
Actually,
right way
no,
up.
I don't know. That'll be fine. That'll be fine there.
So, there?
Yeah.
That what you're thinking?
Yeah, I'll do.
Cool. You can now see which way up the suspension goes. You want to not be in the area where the tyre will materialise, otherwise we'll have to go and manually replace it.
Well, let's put the other one in the other corner. Boink.
Right.
That feels like the middle-ish.
Right, Stray Maiden. Worryingly, I actually understood which bit that Tom was referring to, and Tom understood what I was referring to. I know there was a bit on a bit on a bit on a bit through that.
There's Stray Maiden there. Say hi,
Yes.
Stray Maiden. How you doing?
You do
Why
realise you're
did-
placing 3x3s instead of a
Why am I doing
5x5,
three?
yeah?
No, I didn't.
Because, right, well, you want to go back into your
Go
wheels.
away.
I'll tidy up the random tyres that you're about to leave on the floor.
Go away. Go away. That's not what I told you to do. I wanted 5x5. How do I make these things go further away from me again?
Hold left bumper and then up and down on D-pad. Stray Maiden says hi, as I know you haven't got chat in front of you, Tom.
Excellent.
And good evening to you, Stray Maiden.
Did that work? No, it fucking did.
I mean, it's an interesting approach to wheels, and depending on what you're trying to build, actually putting them in weird directions like that does work. I'll have to introduce you to sand skimmers later.
Why are you... Is that the right words?
So the problem that Tom's having, for the benefit of stream, is depending on which direction you're looking at the block, it flips the wheels round quite a bit. So
It's annoying me.
as you can hear, it's rather frustrating until you get used to it.
I'm beginning to get annoyed with this thing. Just go there. Why won't you go green? Just go green.
Because you're inside the block. You need to be a reasonable distance
I
away
just
when you're
deleted
placing
a
wheels.
cube as well, for Christ's sakes.
That's alright, I'll get the cube. You worry about the wheels. To prevent any more OCD triggering, I have now switched over to using exactly the same paint scheme as Tom.
Okay. Am I going to get the fifth wheel in there? Fifth? Third?
Right, you want to move that one block backwards.
Okay.
I shall become a marker post.
Why won't you delete? Why is it when I don't want these things to delete, they delete? When I do want them to delete, they don't?
Because their hitbox is wonky as anything.
There? You can't see,
I
can
can't
you?
see until you place it.
How's that?
That looks alright. You've got some room in between the wheels now.
Cool. There's a random wheel on the floor.
Yes, because when you delete the suspension, it doesn't delete the wheel as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What?
Oh, I do believe we have a bot in chat.
Kill the bot, kill the bot, kill the bot, bot.
I don't suppose Artemis is logged in with the mod on, is she?
I don't think she is. I
If
think
not,
she's busy.
if not,
She's
I
sorting
will
things
attempt to. If in that case, I will attempt to ban the bot. Bye bye bot.
What on earth?
And because bot. There we
Oh
go.
dear.
Right.
Right.
Cylon removed.
Right. Do I need to put a cockpit on this thing?
You will need to put a cockpit on it, otherwise you're going to have a lot of difficulty driving it.
Okay.
Can I also offer some suggestion
Yeah,
on
please
the
do.
wheels?
Yep.
If you come below the wheels, you'll notice that there is a 2-block bit hanging down.
I need to put some blocks where they are, don't I?
I would suggest connecting that just so you've got 4 connection points instead of 2. For when we inevitably high center this thing and break something. You are going to have to be really careful driving this thing over roughed ground.
That's fine. I thought. Oh no, I've done it again.
What have you done?
What have I deleted? I ran away, so I didn't try to delete anything by accident. I pressed the wrong button.
I can't see anything deleted, so I think you got away with
I
it.
think I got away with it. Right, okay.
Just realised that bot was actually vaguely smart. I've got links disabled, so it actually got round it. Damn Cylons. There we go. Bit more reinforcement.
Right.
Okay.
Don't like the
There
lack
are-
of ground clearance.
Yes, well, we can jack the ground clearance up once we get a cockpit on it.
Okay.
Because you'll notice all of your wheels are right in the middle of your suspension travel at the minute.
Yeah, I need them a lot further down. Go down, wheels. Go down. Go down.
Sorry, Panzer. Tom has made his decision. He's leaving the conveyor junctions where they are. I don't think you're going to convince him. I am aware that there are ways around it.
I
but I'm leaving
will
this to
make it
Tom.
worse. I will make it worse. I'm that kind of guy. Has he seen it from underneath?
Unfortunately,
Have you shown him underneath?
I
You should show him
think that
underneath.
I think that may be what triggered him this time.
Oh, okay.
Right, there are 3 things that you need to get onto this vehicle.
Yep.
You need to get a cockpit onto this vehicle.
Yep.
You need to get batteries onto this vehicle, and you need to get some way of generating power onto this vehicle.
Right. Okay, so I want my cockpit to be here then, so I can see.
You will also need some storage on this mining vehicle.
That's what the back's for.
Yes, Panzer, he literally does just want to see the world burn most of the time. That is a fairly accurate description of Tom in a situation like this.
Yeah, that is me all over. Where's my cockpit?
Right, so cockpits
Ship essentials. There it is.
are... Yep, ship essentials. You've either got cockpits or you've got control seats. It depends whether you want open-topped or not.
I want to be covered because I'm expecting this thing to do something silly. So I need
That
it.
seems perfectly reasonable.
There you go. There's my cockpit.
Excellent. Now, your cockpit actually does have a conveyor point on the bottom of it, which means you could technically plumb it up for air.
Okay.
It doesn't matter on this planet, but something to bear in mind for later builds is if you need that to have air supply, the junction for it is on the bottom.
Oh, I can get in it.
You can get in it.
Is it
You won't be
gonna...
able to go anywhere because it's attached to a station and has no power.
Hey, oh, hello. I didn't fall off. I was going to fall off.
I mean, no, Stray Maiden, burning worlds is not actually a thing in this game. You can feel like the world's burning occasionally, and if the weather was on, the weather on this planet can reach temperatures called Inferno, but I've left that turned off because that's silly, and Tom would get very upset with lightning strikes.
Yes, very much so.
Because they randomly destroy bits of your base if they hit it. And there is supposedly a lightning rod, but it is incredibly buggy and doesn't necessarily work. Yeah, sort of SimCity level lightning strikes. Yeah, that's more or less it. This is the Mad Max themed world that we're currently inhabiting. So if I'd left the weather on, you'd get absolute blinding dust storms, horrible lightning storms, inferno heat waves, all sorts of fun stuff. It's fun for a short while, then it just gets irritating because you basically have to build everything underground. And digging out a cave for something this size is a long job.
Yeah, let's hope we never flip this one. Not like my motorbike.
If you flip this like you flipped the bike the other night, one, I'll be impressed with whatever you did to flip it, assuming it doesn't involve the drill, because that drill could really easily flip this if you mess that up. And two, yeah, we're never getting this thing back over. At that point, I am literally attaching thrusters to it and getting it to flip that way.
That's that's
I
an
will
option.
fly it back over.
We can have that as an option. Why isn't that on my bike?
Because there isn't enough room. And your bike has enough power problems as it is.
Does it?
Yeah, these bikes are really marginal on power. In terms of the amount of power they produce versus consume.
Oh, okay.
You haven't got much spare.
I do like the bikes.
Um,
Right. What do I need to do next? We've got my cockpit. Need power.
You need batteries and you need some way of generating power. I would worry about battery placement first. You also need storage, connected to the top of the drills. That conveyor junction we left in the middle.
What, up here?
Yes, that junction I left at the top. That's where your conveyors need to connect to for your storage. Your storage doesn't have to be up there, but it needs to connect to up there.
Right, so I need a pipe.
As long as you leave one of these three arms attached, you could actually replace one or more of them with conveyor tubes.
Can I just convey a tube out the top to here and then just build a pile of boxes here?
You can indeed. We also, as you won't have seen them yet because we didn't have the resources to build them yet, there is the large storage container.
Oh, cool. Well, yeah, pile those up. Where is that?
If you go to your to your logistics one, gas and logistics.
Yep.
At the 6 o'clock position, you have small cargo container.
Cool. I have the large one.
Yeah, Panzer, we have played with the wheel bouncing. I am reasonably certain that this thing is going to be heavy enough that we aren't going to hit orbit. However, I've also seen it glitch my 7,000 ton super rover into orbit because of wheel bouncing. So, yeah, that's a way of getting stuff flying. Just not sure if you're ever going to get it back afterwards. Yeah. Davakin, similar answer to your best way of building a base. Best way of building a fleet, start with one ship, build a design you like, and then, develop off of that. Okay, time for a quick lesson in Space Engineers cargo systems, Mr. Tom.
Yep.
If you are using a cargo container as a junction in your conveyor system,
Yes.
if that gets full, it will stop anything moving through the rest of your cargo system.
Right.
So, depending on how you want to do this, you either want to have a central run of conveyors connecting to all of your cargo, or you probably want a separate cargo connection to each of these three top ones, just so that you've got a couple of options.
Alright, so like bring it to here and then tee it basically.
Yep.
Okay, that's not a problem.
Also, this is more of a thing to worry about if you're building huge vehicles. This doesn't qualify. You want to use as few conveyor junctions as you can get away with because they generate lag. So tubes are better than junctions if you can get away with it.
So I want just small. I just want conveyors. Yeah.
Yep, so they are also on your logistics bar and they are at your 7 o'clock.
A conveyor junction.
Yes, you start with that one. The small conveyors that are at your 9 o'clock are for small grid only.
Okay. Where do I put this then? Or do I just build a?
So what I would suggest you do is if we drop that one out.
Ah,
I was hoping you didn't have your jetpack on. And what we can basically do is replace all of that armour there with the conveyor connections to those 3 cargo containers. That would be my suggestion.
so I just build.
So I would go with... Have you got your conveyors out?
That.
Yep, you can do it that way. You can absolutely do it that way, and then you just need to connect it to that middle one.
Why did you go up? Didn't ask you to go up. Like that.
There you go. Now that will connect all 3 of those top ones separately, so if one of those gets blocked, it can route it through the other ones.
Yes, please.
It's not normally a massive problem, but it's always better to have the option. It also means if you damage one of those top 3 and it goes below functional, you've got a way round it.
So if I go down here, but this
Now,
may
as I
be an
said-
issue with the drill stone. If I go down too far,
As long as you've got 1 block of clearance, you should be fine.
which I won't do if I
Yeah,
do
so
it.
you're going to have problems with that bottom one. That might cause you some clang.
Well, let's not worry about it at the moment. So will it? Hang on. So, oh, feck off! Stupid bloody thing. So at the moment it will only feed into those top 3 boxes, but not into the rest of them.
No, it will feed through, but if it decides to fill those top 3 boxes first,
Yeah.
rather than filling all the way down first, it will just fill those top 3 boxes and you'll have to manually shift it down.
Okay.
Normally it's sensible and fills the furthest ones, but not always.
What if I do? Oh, stupid.
Yep. Now, if you're going to do it that way, I would suggest running either pipes or you're going to want some oxygen and hydrogen on this, possibly, if we're out and about.
Right.
So what you could do is, instead of having junctions all the way around, because we want to minimise junctions if we can, if I just drop an oxygen tank here, you'll see it helpfully is exactly 2 blocks.
Oh, okay.
And there is a hydrogen tank that is exactly 2 blocks and won't block the cargo system.
So surely then I want to get rid of some of these then, instead of having these conveyors.
Yep, you can get rid of a few of those. I would suggest tubes for those, which are under your conveyor junction.
And that one. And that one.
Yep. And it looks a little bit cooler as well. A little bit more variety in there.
How do I change?
Up on the D-pad while you've got the conveyor junction out.
Okay, so I want that one, and I want to do that one. Okie dokie. So, there. There.
Yeah, Panzer, that's a pretty good way of starting building a fleet. A small frigate, you know, nice and efficient, fairly self-sufficient. That's a good one.
Yeah.
What I actually did to start my fleet was I stole one of the NPC rust freighters and converted that over to a raiding ship to steal other rust freighters for parts.
Sorry, I was stuck.
I went full pirate. Are you having some problems, Mr. Tom?
I got stuck in amongst the pistons.
Did you get eaten by the piston snake?
I did. Yep.
That is very easy to do. There are a lot of pistons in there. Oh, apparently we've lost the sun again.
Where's-
Where's
where's the
play
middle
God
one?
again. There we are. What middle one are you looking for?
Is it-
You only place the side ones.
This is just a conveyor, isn't it?
Yep.
One.
And what flavour of tank would you like in your middle stack?
They're hydrogen, aren't they?
You've got oxygens at the top and hydrogens at the bottom. We will use more hydrogen than oxygen on this planet. We will use basically no oxygen.
Okay, hydrogen it is then.
Okie dokie. As I've got them out. Now, if you really wanted to go for it, you can cross-connect all of those as well on the back if you wanted to go for a full grid, but I leave that to you. That is purely a design choice on your part.
I believe that I will cross-connect those then.
What you could cross-connect them with, you're going to want some hydrogen generation on here, some O2H2 generators. They will fit in that gap, because that way you can generate hydrogen, because on this planet you've got two options when it comes to powering this vehicle.
Yep.
You're either going to have to use lots of solar panels to charge your batteries, or you're going to have hydrogen powered generators.
Hydrogen powered generators probably be a good way to go then.
But you're going to need lots of ice and hydrogen production to keep those generators ticking over. So
what do you oh my god, sorry,
words, Tom, words. It's all fine. It's all good.
what would be the better energy efficiency? 'Cause if I can run it off of solar,
I mean, solar will be great during the day, but it really won't help you during the night, and it's a 50-50 cycle on this planet.
Yep.
At this sort of latitude. The advantage to solar, of course, is you don't have to do anything for it. It's basically a trickle charge.
Yep.
So, putting solar on the roof is never a bad idea for a vehicle like this. But I would always have some sort of other backup.
That's great then. Let's go hydrogen. Let's go for it.
Okay, so in which case I would suggest that you put 6 O2H2 generators on the back of this thing.
No, you go for it, Shane. Okay, I don't know where they are.
They are at the top of your gas and logistics. The 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock position, sorry. Panzer, yes, there was Tom being attacked by a uncooked piece of spaghetti, and the murderous laughter you heard in the background was Artemis, who you met in chat a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of streams ago.
You say the O2H2 generator?
That's the one you want.
Okay.
And you will see that it has ports in both ends and on 2 of its sides.
Cool. Oh. Okay, so one there. One there. And one there.
So that's going to generate your hydrogen. You've got tanks to store some of it. Now you need the actual hydrogen engines themselves.
Cool.
Now I'm going to place one of these down just so you can see what it looks like, because its connection points are weird. Okay?
Oh.
So if I drop one down up on the top here.
Come back. Yep.
Now this has got 2 connection points. One on the bottom and one on the end. So it connects like an L shape.
Right. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, Panzer, that's pretty much what I'm heading for.
It looks like a railgun.
Sort of. It's meant to be based on a fighter engine,
No, I can see that.
or a diesel submarine engine from World War II. They are both very similar designs. But that is apparently what they took as the inspiration.
Fair enough.
Anyway, that is not where I would suggest putting them, but I needed to show you where your connection options were.
Okay.
So I'll let you figure out how you want to work that in. I'm also going to point out that your vehicle is going to be incredibly back heavy once it's full of material. So you might want to think about pushing things like batteries towards the front of the
Oh,
vehicle.
that's where I was going to put
balance
all
it
of that,
out a bit.
all the batteries, motors,
Wicked.
and stuff like that with this end. But what do I need to do to fit those motors in?
Right, they just need to be connected to the same cargo system as everything else on this.
So I could put one on this corner,
Where have you gone?
at the front.
Where have you gone?
At the front.
Oh, right. At the front.
Put one around here somewhere.
You can put it wherever you like, but you've got to connect it to the cargo containers with a conveyor tube
Okay.
to get the hydrogen gas into it.
So I just got to run a tube from here to here.
Yep.
Okay. Do I need to place the motor first?
That is entirely up to you.
It might be easier.
It depends where you want to put it and how you want to line it up.
Where
There's
is
nothing
it?
saying you have to put it flat. Right, so it is under your production and medical. Left hand side, it says small reactor by default because it's where the nuclear power is as well. Unfortunately, we don't have access to uranium, so... Yeah, Davakin, talking about mods, 10 to 12 is the recommended maximum on Xbox because of lag. That is individual loads of your mod list, not number of mods. So packs like Azimuth Remastered and Azimuth Mega Pack get round it by having lots of mod packs in one go. It's something to do with the load order. I don't entirely understand it because I don't deal with modding too much, but 10 to 12 is the recommended, and 15 to 20 on Xbox is probably your maximum.
Is that good there?
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
As long as you're tubing it out the back, that's all good.
Okay. Where's my tubes?
So you can either run the tube straight back and into the side of the cargo container, or even straight all the way back and run it into the junction behind the cargo, or you can run it up and connect it into the top of the conveyor system above the drill bit. It's entirely your call. I'm guessing you're going backwards.
Like that?
Yeah, that'll work just fine. The useful thing is gas doesn't get blocked up if your conveyor system does, so...
Cool. Right, so that's that and that. I need batteries as well, apparently.
You definitely need batteries
Right, okay.
to power this monstrosity.
Okay.
With batteries, it's a case of the more the merrier, but you also need to consider they weigh a lot.
It's good, because I'm going to put one in the front. Where do I find batteries?
Right, batteries are under your production and medical right at the bottom. 6 o'clock.
Okay, does it matter which one?
You will only have access to one on large grid.
Cool. Do I need to leave any spaces or anything like that?
Nope, they can literally be put right up against anything. They just charge off the grid. There you go. That's probably enough.
Cool.
Before you go completely crazy. Right, something that has just occurred to me that we probably want to fit onto this thing if we're going out mining with it is some way for us to recharge our health and our hydrogen.
Yes.
Well, you've got two options. You can either have survival kits, like we have been using, or you can put down a proper medical bay, which will work faster but doesn't let you build anything.
Survival kits.
Okay.
This is just a mining rig at the end of the day.
Yep, so you will find those if you go to production and medical. They are at the 1 o'clock position.
Survival kit? Yep.
and they need to be connected to your conveyor system again. They have connections on both sides.
Ah,
That's the edge of the vehicle, Tom. I think safety rails might be a good idea.
is there a T-junction for these tubes?
Unfortunately not.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, tell me about it. I can see exactly where you're planning on putting that survival kit then.
But it just made sense.
You can knock out that elbow connector without it causing you any problems. Because I'm going to guess that you're planning on putting the survival kit there.
But there.
Ah, there, I see.
But this
Right,
is,
so-
but you don't have a T-piece or a bent T-piece or anything like that, so I can't do
No,
anything.
so you'd put it there, and then you need to put a junction in, a full 6-way junction,
Oh, okay.
like that.
Cool.
And I've fixed your hole.
Thank you.
Cool. And that has the added bonus that we can also use the survival kit to access the rest of the cargo system, rather than having to fly.
Yes.
Right. We're pretty much there. I'm going to suggest you put a single gyro somewhere on here, just for balance.
Does it matter where it goes?
Not particularly. Directly behind the cockpit would probably be a good spot. Just because it's out the way there.
Where is the gyro?
The gyro is on Ship Essentials at your 3 o'clock.
Stop flying.
I mean, Panzer, I also build vanilla first, but it's nothing to do with flexing on not being dependent on mods. It's purely I play on a lot of vanilla only worlds, so I prefer to have something built in vanilla and then make a modded version of it.
Can you get handrails?
You can. You can definitely get handrails.
Okay. Although I'm
right,
not sure how relevant that is at the moment, because actually I don't have any access to the vehicle other than flying.
Nope, so you're going to want to put a ladder on it. So if you go to comms and hangars,
Comms and hangers.
you have a you have a multitude of stairs and ladders at the 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock position.
Yep.
So you do have just straight ladders. I will warn you, they are really painfully slow to climb up. But they have the advantage that you can jump up to them from the floor and just connect on. So
There we go.
it's entirely up to you if you want to use ladders or if you want to do a sort of catwalk stair down the front of the vehicle, or how you want to do it.
No, ladders.
Ladders? Okay, ladders it is then.
I know what. Oh, stop. Why are you? La 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 la. Thank you.
Ah, dear. Cool. We might be able to reach that one from the ground. I hope so.
I wasn't expecting it to do that. No, that's not where I want it.
Okay. Yep, that seems like a perfectly sensible place to have some ladders.
Cool.
Okay, ore detectors and an antenna are the next item on the menu.
Alright, yep. Okay.
More like a film. Okay, fair enough. That's an interesting description for it. I suppose I am very much playing cameraman at this one, but I wanted Tom to have a go at designing his own vehicle, so...
Antenna. I have an antenna.
Where did he put the
That's a huge.
Right, antenna. Antennas are huge. There are a couple of different ones depending on what DLCs you got. You want the normal antenna. You can stick it where you like.
Right now.
Okay, that's a way of doing it.
Yeah.
Cool. And now ore detectors.
Is that under the same section?
Nope, that is wheels and weapons at your 6 o'clock.
And this needs to go underneath.
Dovahkiin, the reason I'm going for an antenna specifically is so that we can broadcast the ore locations when we find them. The beacon is great for locating a vehicle, but the antenna is really useful if you're going ore scouting.
There.
Where have you put them? Ah! Ooh, they're going to get shaved off by something. It's going to be glorious.
Alright. It'll be great. It'll be fun. Are you alright if I take a quick 5-minute break?
You can take a quick 5-minute break if you would like. I will take stream through my little ore scouting creation that I use. Actually, no, I've got a small grid vehicle that does almost the same job. I'll take them through that.
Alright. Alright,
Yes,
I'll be back
you go and have your five minutes, and I will quickly introduce stream. Now, Tom did reference this vehicle a little bit earlier. This is something called a scuttler, which is one of my many chassis that I have designed. Just waiting for the blueprints menu to load. Excuse me, coughing fit. Right, now the scuttlers that I've built are basically, I got fed up of getting stuck in potholes in this game. So I made something called a scuttler. Now, I call that because it literally looks like it's scuttling over stuff when you drive it. The one that I'm going to load in is almost a baby version of what Tom has designed tonight. It was specifically designed for scraping up snow and ice on Mars, because I was too lazy to use a hand drill. So we'll drop the scuttler in. And I have a thing about wheels. I need all of the wheels. So, this is the scuttler. We have our large grid ore detector. We have our cargo. We have a very small drill rig. We have a little survival kit and some battery and some cargo storage. The advantage that this thing has is that it drives really nicely and doesn't care too much about terrain. Now, it's not quite as good off-road as the normal version of this that doesn't have the gigantic ore detector hanging off the roof, but it's still reasonably capable. I mean, if we go up here, it'll have a reasonable go at just driving straight up that cliff. I believe I can fly. There we go. And it will quite happily just roll down the other side. I believe I may have broken something, but never mind. Anyway. Yeah. It's, right. Okay. Panzer. I can't take credit for the Helikolotter wheel design. That goes to a certain other streamer called a Mr. Wasted Space, who built a vehicle a good few years ago called the Spider. Now, we can't rebuild the Spider on Xbox because it needs the subgrid wheel script. But what the Spider did is it's basically the middle of this, but the outside row of wheels are on hinges so that they flap up and down, which means that it can go over basically any terrain you care to put it on. it was a really cool vehicle. It didn't really suffer going over rough ground. And I decided, what the heck, let's try and make an Xbox version. But it will drive up more or less anything. Oh, I think I may hit a cliff though. Nope, there we go. So yeah, it just drives. And it drives really nicely. So I'm quite happily talking to you guys and paying more attention to chat than where I'm driving. And just messing this thing around. The other monster that I pasted in right at the start of the stream when I thought Tom was going for an ore scout rather than a mobile refinery is the Ripsaw. Now, if you were on one of my creative streams a couple of weeks ago, you'll have seen this thing already. This is a similar idea. Lots of wheels, goes quickly. But it's a little bit tougher, a little more survivable, a little bit cheaper to build. And also has the advantage of being able to do this. And then barrel roll. Because wheel suspension in this game is fun. This one is also the one that is capable of doing a handstand. It's got way too much traction for its own good, this vehicle. To the point that we were trying to build a space elevator and we literally strapped 4 of these things around a central pillar and drove into space.
Back.
Anyway, I can hear that we now have reacquired a Tom. So, let's delete the scuttle. Actually, right, I'm going to drive this round, Tom. And I'll introduce you to what I built for a similar idea many moons ago. I'll bring it round to you. I will park it alongside your vehicle.
Oh, it's cute.
It is.
It's got way too many wheels. Why has it got so many wheels?
It has got... Right, you want to know why it has way too many wheels? If we, this is what I was just showing stream. If we go and have a look at the rock we dug our base into, we know that we can't get a bike up that. We've tried. We can, however, as long as I don't mess the approach run up, get a scuttler up it. And it will happily just mountain goat its way up this cliff. Because all of the wheels.
I will get a bike to be able to do that, and I won't need more than 4 wheels.
Yeah, as I said, Tom, it will quite happily just drive up this cliff, and if I put the handbrake on, it'll stay here. And it does have a punch drill in the middle of it that goes out the bottom of the thing, and it also has a large grid ore detector, even though it's a small grid vehicle.
Well, you've got to have a large grid ore detector.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, I am literally just going to leave that there, Stray Maiden. And it will quite happily stay there. The trick with the lots of wheels is to actually have the suspension really soft to keep as many of them in contact with the ground as possible. Which is why you've got to be careful with the approach angle and why I occasionally blow armour blocks up. So if you look at this wheel here, that's when things start clanging. In fact, yeah, Tom, you might want to have a laugh at this because it is silly where the suspension has ended up. If you come to the front of my little scuttler that I've built. Where's he gone?
Yeah.
Ah, there he is. Yeah, if you have a look at the one next, directly below the cockpit, notice the problem with one of those wheels.
Oh, it's going through the roof.
Yes, yeah, that's when things start going boom. Davik, you can put a scuttler in such a way that it'll drive upside down, but you really need a lot of batteries on it. Like all of the batteries ever, because these wheels eat power. This can only run, without the generators being on, this can only run for about an hour before you've got to recharge it. It is very power hungry because I think this one's got 48 wheels on it.
48.
I am fully aware that this is a utterly ridiculous vehicle, and it is no way sensible, resource efficient or anything. I just like something where I can effectively put it in cruise control and not care too much about the terrain it drives over.
Right, okay.
Anyway, as we're nearly finished yours and we've got about 20 minutes of the stream left, let's see if we can get it done.
Yep. What else do I need in it? I've got the gyro.
So we've got the gyro for emergencies.
Yep.
We've got storage, we've got gas production, we've got ways of topping up our health. About the only thing I can think of that we need is a way of connecting it up to... Well, actually no. Do you want it to connect up to something to drop off all of its ore and process it? Or do you want it to have the ore processing on it as well?
Now let's have it connect to things. I like
cool.
it to go out for a run and then come and do a delivery.
Right, in which case, what we need to do is come back over to our mining outpost and decide where we want it to connect on. Looking at the height of that thing, I'm gonna suggest that we have it coming off the top of our assembler.
Okie dokie.
And have some sort of arm coming out for it to plug into.
Probably needs to come this way as well.
Well, I would just have it coming almost out as far as where your bike's parked, so that you've got a little bit more height to play with, because that is going to be really high off the ground.
Okay.
And
I'll have to trust you on that because I don't know how high that thing's going to be.
Well, we're going to be able to adjust it with suspension, so we've got some flexibility there. But basically, what I'm thinking we do is if I just... This is obviously not going to be something we worry about. We just put a conveyor arm out there like that. And then under your gas and logistics, at the 11 o'clock, you have connectors. They're under the collector block.
Yep.
So these are basically magnetic couples between two grids.
Right.
So you'd have one on this grid, and you would have one on your rover. You would reverse your rover up, and then use a button to connect the two grids' cargo systems and power together.
Do I want that connector attached to the back of one of those conveyors?
I would actually have it more or less where we've got this T-piece connected.
Okay.
So I would drop a conveyor tube, then a junction, and then have the conveyor connector on the back of it, roughly where that T-piece is.
It's going to come out quite a way then.
It's only going to come out level with that block. It'll be level with there.
Okay.
So not too far. Right, what we'll do is, if we do that, you can now chop away that central spar to put your connector in.
Oh, it's...
You might as well just take that whole... Oh, that's going to drop. Well caught. Well caught. It's alright. On my screen, it deleted a block either side, and then the one in the middle started to fall.
Okay,
so from that middle junction,
here,
I would drop it straight down. Yeah, so I would drop it straight down off of that cargo with a conveyor tube. Ah! Turned my jetpack off by accident. Right.
so small?
Have you picked up the small grid conveyors instead of the large grid ones?
I may well have done.
Easily done. Would you like me to assist as I have the conveyor tubes handy?
Yeah, go for it. Know what you're doing. I don't.
So, like that. Like that. And then like that.
Aww. It's like a little tail.
It is like a little tail. Dovahkiin, I'm assuming that was directed my way, and this is sort of a Let's Play. I know it's very much more of a teaching Tom how to play, but this is our technically the first Let's Play for the stream. Right, I think we have got everything we're going to need.
Okay. What do I do now?
Which now means it's time to cut it loose.
Let's go.
And set up all of the suspension and everything else.
So I need to cut these blocks off.
Yep, so cut those blocks off. I'm going to go and put the handbrake on. There it goes. Now I'm expecting that to sit oh lordy. That's a lot lower on its suspension than I was hoping to see. Awesome. Right. Okay, let's play with the suspension settings then. So, first thing I'm going to do to make life easier is I'm going to group all of our suspension so that all of the changes I make will be the same across all of the wheels. Yes, that is exactly what happens when we use some heavy armour in this. It's all fine. Absolutely fine. Because the suspension strength is really low right now. So if I just jack it up a bit, I have a feeling we're going to need it about 50% with this vehicle. And then I'm going to crank the height offset up as well. Yep, that's because I'm changing all the suspension settings. Right. Now the next thing I want to do is, so that this thing is actually vaguely sane to drive, I want to turn off steering on the middle pair of wheels. Except that these wheels are not placed in a sensible manner, so I've actually turned off the rear pair of wheels. Excellent! You placed the ends, then the middle, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yep, I'd forgotten that. So I actually want those two. There we go. So we've now got steering set up properly. So next thing I'm going to set up, and in case you're wondering chat, the reason I'm doing this rather than Orion is I've got access to a keyboard and Orion doesn't, and this is much faster with a keyboard. So we've got our hydrogen generators on. Now I've done that so that we can have a nice on-off and turn those noisy generators off. Batteries. Let's do the same for the batteries so we can group those for recharge.
I can see you.
There we go. So all I'm doing here is just setting up our quick action bar so that this is a little bit more user friendly once we get it moving. Right. Pistons are going to be a problem because we can't set that group up properly until we actually build it in survival. So that's going to be something we play with later.
Does it mean I get to see it in action?
Oh no, we can still do it, but there's no point we setting up the grouping for it properly.
Oh, right, okay.
Now, as this is your vehicle,
Yep.
I suggest that you jump in the cockpit, go to the info tab, and give it a name.
What's the info?
The middle panel.
Ah.
Yeah, 3000 PCU. Not too bad. Yeah, and I suggest you name the grid.
Is that where it says grid name? Yeah?
Yes. Yep. Because at the minute it's just called static grid and then a randomly generated number. Because what we're going to do is, before we start driving it and testing it, I'm going to suggest that you make a blueprint of it, so that if anything goes horribly wrong, we can just paste it back into the world.
Okay.
Have you named it?
I have named it.
Cool, right. Jump out of your vehicle.
Yep.
Fly a tiny bit away from it.
Yep.
That'll do. Now look at it so your crosshair is on a block of your vehicle somewhere.
Yep.
Click your right thumbstick and go to the blueprint menu.
That's my left thumbstick. Blueprints, yep.
Yeah, right thumbstick. And then you will have the left-hand option is create blueprint.
Yep.
Select that option and it will create a blueprint. And if that all worked well, we will just be able to use that blueprint to project it into the survival game next time.
Oh, didn't save its name for some reason.
That might mean you didn't save its name.
Probably. Alright, it can stay
Doesn't
what
look
it's
like
called
it.
now, though.
Okay, so it's now just the static grid.
Yep.
Excellent. Okay. Now... Oh, yeah. We don't need to worry about this vehicle too much. I've left the handbrake as hitting Y, but we'll just deal with that. How does she drive?
Seems alright. Wait,
Excellent.
it's fine. Doesn't look like. Did I change the camera angle?
Hold down right bumper and then up on the D-pad will put you in third person camera.
There we go.
And of course, because it is defaulted to 75, let's pump the ore detectors up. Look at that! A successful vehicle!
It works. Doesn't like turning.
No, it doesn't like turning because your wheels... You've got an incredibly short wheelbase.
Yeah.
Right, 2 seconds. I'll go grab something and we'll go for a brief drive. But yeah, all in all, not a bad little vehicle you've got there, Tom. For your first truly, you know, vanilla build that's all yours, not bad at all.
Okay. I want to test the thingies though.
You want to test the drills? We can definitely arrange a test of the drills. Let me drive on over.
Pretty sure you'll catch up to me.
I would be very embarrassed if I didn't catch up with you, considering what I'm driving. So I'm not bringing the scuttler. But yeah, find yourself a decent flat spot and we'll start playing with the drills. Or is that what you've just done?
No. I just momentarily lost the ability to steer.
Ah, that would be a downside, I would say. Well, lead on.
I can't remember how to pan the camera and stuff like
Hold down both shoulders, and the right joystick will let you pan the camera. Right.
This will do.
Gonna need to pick a spot soon. Is that gonna be your spot?
Yeah, that'll do.
Okay. So, I need to go and make your life easier by grouping your drills. Otherwise, you're gonna have to turn them all on individually, and that's no fun.
No. I'm seriously concerned about the wobble. Just don't like the single connection point. It seems it's gonna break.
Yeah. Oh, that is something I really need to do. Is turn on something called Share Inertia Tensor. That will stop a lot of the wobble.
Okay.
Right, we now have drills. Pistons is my next stop. Apparently I can't spell piston tonight. Doing well. We are doing well. I forgot the I. It's a rather crucial letter.
Piston.
Alright.
Still works. Still gets.
Yeah, but it doesn't show in the... Oh, that straightened everything out. I felt the grid move then. We want that to be negative 0.1. Maximum and minimums are all fine. Okay. So, you want to see what this does rather than being the one controlling it really for this one, don't you, Tom?
Well, I can do it from outside the cockpit. I can see from outside the cockpit. I'm not in the vehicle. I am in the vehicle. My view is not from inside the vehicle.
But your view is not. Okie dokie. So what you need to do is... I will turn all the drills on for you, because it's just going to be faster.
Yep.
You need to find a piston. And then you need to reverse it.
Piston.
Right, hopefully those are all on.
Piston.
Ooh, that's not a good sign.
What's wrong?
Why are you not on drills?
I found a piston. I don't know which piston it is, but I don't know whether it makes any difference.
It doesn't make any difference with this design.
Pardon?
Said, doesn't make any difference on this design. So, reverse a piston. I'm currently standing more or less underneath it.
Reversed.
I can see it sort of moving. It has to move relatively slowly, because otherwise, one, it shakes itself apart, and two, it will start pushing into the ground and actually lifting the vehicle up. You might want to reverse another piston.
Did not do all of them.
You can do all of them, but you risk pushing the drill down too fast, and it will start lifting the vehicle up. Either that, or I'm going to have to go in and set a really low decimal number.
That's alright, I shall start the next piston.
We are just about to make contact with the floor.
Started the next piston.
Cool. Oh, there we go, we have hit rock. Let the lag begin. So let's have a look at our cargo. Let's see how much we've grabbed already, shall we? So we're already at more stone than we've actually collected so far on the server. We are approaching 300k rapidly. We're now heading towards 400k.
It's a beautiful hole.
Incidentally, we still haven't even come close to filling one cargo container.
That's fine. It's wobbling about all over the place.
It will do.
And I should be able
You
to
have
jump on
a-
it now. Yes.
You can, yeah, you can now ride it down into the hole in the ground.
Can you get remote controls for this?
You can. There is a specific block called a remote control you stick on a vehicle, and as long as it's got an antenna, you can connect to it from any seat, or actually if you're close enough with your suit, and you can use it to remote control a vehicle.
It's still going down. That's good. Okay, that one. One piston is finished moving down.
Yep. I'm just going to fire off another 2.
Which one did it activate?
2 of the top ones.
Ooh.
We still haven't even half filled the 1 cargo container, and we've just hit 2 million kilograms of stone.
It's making some god awful noises.
Yes, that would be called clang. Oh no, that's not clang, that's just a lot of drills in one go. That is, the game doesn't expect you to have this many drills running at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So that's the sound effect it goes with.
I love how nice a shape it is as well, especially even with the missing.
You can, if you fly up, you can see the side where you've got some drills missing. It is quite funny.
No. Oh, it has got to be cut out.
Hey! Hello, Mr. Spin. Thank you for the raid. Welcome,
Hey.
Crab Nation. You're just in time for us testing Tom's first drill rig. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, tonight, Tom has built this. It is admittedly creative, but we are going to be building this next week for real in survival. Glad you could all join us. And we have literally just done the first ever test of its drill to see if it works or if it causes the vehicle to explode and launch itself into space. The result is it worked. I'm pretty sure if we fire all the pistons at once it will reach space, but let's not do that.
Why did we not try that?
Because I had a feeling that we wanted to actually get a working vehicle first. I mean, if I just go pistons,
Activate them all. Watch the vehicle lift.
I'm just-
It won't actually go that far now because it will just start lifting
No.
itself.
yeah, I'm just finding the ones we haven't fired yet, and let's see how far we can jack this thing up. Well, you say space adventures. That is actually the plan. The plan is to get Tom to space. That is the goal of this little series of streams we're doing, is to eventually get him into space. But we need to start on the ground because we're doing this in survival. This is us doing some design work.
Did you activate them all?
I have activated all the ones that we haven't activated yet. Considering
Oh.
how slow they're set to, it's just probably going to rattle around a bit.
So there is a lot of rattling.
There will probably be quite a bit of rattling. I'm waiting to see if the vehicle actually lifts off the ground.
I've got red light down here.
Red light?
No, it's dark. It's just dark.
Yeah, it'll just be very dark down this hole. Yeah, we have definitely hit the limit. Oh, I think I know what's happened. You know you made a chunk of this out of heavy armour?
Yeah.
I think it's too heavy for the pistons to lift. I think that's why it's not going anywhere.
But it's not
'Cause
going down any
pistons
further
are-
either.
It will go down as the drills dig out the floor. So you're now limited by how quickly the drills can kill the floor.
No, it's not moving.
Right. There's an easy way to tell if you're moving, Tom. Create a GPS.
I can tell it's not moving. Nothing's changing.
In which case, you have probably managed to get it to glitch into the ground somewhere.
Awesome.
By having all the pistons fired. So, you have managed your goal of glitching it, Tom.
Hey.
Congratulations.
Well, it's quite scary down here. Don't come down here.
Yes, it is fairly scary down there.
Can I? I think I found it.
What did you find?
Right. Basically, where that gap is,
Yep.
there are...
if we push it too fast, it doesn't get a chance to clear it.
Yeah.
There we go.
I've got...
There you go, Panzer. Some vindication for you from your comment earlier. Tom's design does have a flaw because he didn't replace that drill that you told him to replace.
Just gonna... I've got one more little bit to get rid of. It's a tiny little bit that's stopping it. I'll bring it.
If that's what you think it is, we have a solution to this problem. Give me a second. The drills are going to stop in a second.
Okay.
I also do not like the fact that that vehicle just leaned over just because I got in the cockpit.
What, this vehicle? Oh, it's got quiet.
Yeah, because I just turned off your drills. So I now have manual control over Tom's drills. So if I do left-click drilling for a little bit, that should destroy a nice big area around the drills.
Yep.
Are they now spinning?
They are all spinning.
Are they now moving?
No.
Oh, we may have broken the pistons. Or, yeah, we've probably broken those pistons, because this one up here definitely hasn't fully extended. Yep, Panzer, you are allowed to laugh. We have a fish. Ah, I can see where we've got this thing stuck.
Oh. Yep, it's going again. It is because
it.
of that one. It's because that one missing piston.
Yep. So yes, Panzer, you are allowed to be smug in chat.
Shut up, Panzer.
Tom is fully in charge of this drill. He is allowed to play with it. I was just trying to unstick it for him. This is very much Tom's drill rig. For those that have joined us recently, I will go back and quickly show you my drill rig.
Right, I need to add drills into that, but it's going to take a lot to fix that.
Yeah, that will definitely be a... We'll worry about that when we build it properly.
Yeah.
So if I fly back on over here, this was my drill rig. A much smaller little rig. Admittedly, designed for... Nah, Tom isn't banned.
Why would I be banned? Who's trying to ban me?
It's fine. It was meant in jest. So I'm waiting for Artemis to magically appear in chat and either start egging them on or putting them in in their seats. But yeah, so yes, Tom, we can fix
I've
that
come
problem
to you.
because we
I've
can't.
come to you.
Oh, you've come to me. Cool. We can't project that drill head anyway
Okay.
in survival, so we can fix that one flaw with your drill when we build it properly next week.
Cool.
Looks like Wally's older brother. Yeah, we could go with that.
Oh, what, my thing?
I'm not sure if he's... well, I assume he, she, maybe, who knows. I'm assuming that they are referring to my weird little thing, as that's what I was looking at when the comment came in.
They could be behind. Who was it that said it?
Leon?
Oh yeah.
Leon Shadell? Yeah. I probably butchered that. I apologise in advance. Oh yeah, we will definitely be lowering the velocity. That was purely to see if it worked, you know, keeping it simple. Close enough, fair, fine. I will go with that. Usually I get names very horribly wrong. Right, guys and girls, and everyone else. Tom, what are you drilling?
Nothing.
Are you trying to make my scuttler fall off the mountain?
No.
Because drilling is not going to achieve that.
No, I was just drilling a hole in the top of the mountain.
Oh, fair enough.
We're in creative, so it doesn't matter.
This is also true, yeah. This is our creative testing world, which we will be back to for testing spaceships when we get to that point.
Whee!
So, unfortunately, we are now 10 minutes past when this stream should have finished. Because I, unfortunately, and Tom have work tomorrow morning. So, Tom, if you could put yourself in your fridge.
I don't want to go to work.
None of us do, but unfortunately we also need to pay the bills.
How far have I gone down? That's a beautiful tunnel. Whee!
Ah, well, I'm glad you've experienced your first raid, Panzer. It's only my third, so, you know, I'm still fairly new at this as well. So, right, are you in your fridge, Mr. Tom?
That will be in a moment.
Excellent. Because, yes, we are going to save this world. We will be back to it for testing. Next Sunday, we will be picking this back up in survival mode, where we will be projecting the gigantic drill rig that Tom has designed this week and building it the difficult way.
Yeah, so much resource hauling to do.
We are going to end up having to do quite a lot of digging, building and welding next week. It's going to be a long one, I think.
Yeah.
It's gonna be some work in that stream. So, well, I'm glad you stayed. Hopefully you've enjoyed the little snippet. I will be back on Wednesday for my creative building stream, where we will be putting a paint job on a fighter that we've been building over the last 2 weeks, and then I'm moving on to a new project. A project that Tom may indirectly benefit from. Now, Tom is part of a tabletop role-playing game that I run, and they have access to a couple of... I'll keep that in mind, Panzer. We may need extra hands, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, we've got a tabletop role-playing game going. The group currently have access to a wheeled vehicle and a shuttle. They've not actually really got to grips with what those vehicles look like other than a top-down map. So I'm going to attempt to recreate at least the wheeled vehicle in Space Engineers, so they have a version of it that they can actually look at, get around inside and see what it's like. So that is going to be the new creative project for Wednesdays. Starting once we finish painting Dovahkiin's fighter that we've been building in the last couple of weeks. So that is the plan for Wednesday. That will be 8 o'clock British Standard Time, basically because I've got to get home from work. It's not quite Warthog Go Bruh, it's more Mad Max Truck Go Splat with this lot. I think that's a fair comment, isn't it, Tom?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I'm afraid I haven't played Neverwinter, Dovahkiin. But right, we need to wrap this up. So thank you all for joining us. I hope you come back. Leon, thank you for the follow. It has just come through at my end. Apparently Twitch is being a bit slow tonight. Oh, we have played lots of D&D, Dovahkiin. We have played plenty of D&D. Thank you, Stray Maiden. It was nice of you to join us. Nice to see some new faces. I am pretty sure there will be plenty of TTRPG talk whilst I'm building the stuff for their TTRPG. So don't worry, there will be some of the discussion going on whilst I'm placing blocks and doing stuff. But anyway, right. I am going to end the stream there. So thank you all for joining me. Thank you, Tom, once again for joining me, and thank you, Artemis, for lending me Tom.
Thank you for having me.
No problems. Right. Thank you, stream. Later all. Have a good evening, and stay safe in this crazy world we're in right now.
Oh, yeah.
Bye!
Bye.